Hello, true duelists. My name is KRAKEN, and welcome to the New Card Report, the series I put out once a day, and that's okay. Just kidding, it's only when there are new cards. What am I, some kind of daily duelist? Foreshadowing. In a moment that was probably inevitable, but somehow I expected it to come out differently, we have indeed received more cards that originally appeared in the anime, now coming through to paper. Shocking, I know. Talk about out of left field. I did not have this on my 2023 bingo card. Literally, was not on it because it's way too fucking up. Why would I include that as a crazy, of course, fucking of course. Still, the Animation Chronicle 2023 has received more cards revealed from it, including now a whole wave of Earthbound Immortal support of sorts, as was seen in the Arc V anime. Arc 5, you care way more than I do. I'm telling you right now. That's right, the year is 2023, and even Earthbound Immortal is going to become a combo deck. So here we go, Ancient Nazca Lines Round 2 in Yu-Gi-Oh! Earthbound Prisoner is the new subcategory of cards for this deck apparently, with this first one being Earthbound Prisoner Groundkeeper, a level 1 Dark Fiend tuner with 300 attack and defense. If normal or special summoned, this can special summon a level 5 or lower Earthbound monster from your deck or grave except for a copy of itself. And doing so will lock you into only summoning fusion and synchro monsters from the extra deck for this turn, a lock you will be very familiar with by the end of this video. It also has blanket protection for Earthbound monsters, making them unable to be destroyed by battle or card effect so long as you have a field spell. It's not too shabby, a tour guide of sorts for a free synchro using Earthbound cards. Can't say my 2009 self ever saw any of this coming, but it's a combo or floodgates in the modern day, so I guess we know which path Earthbound Immortals are on. Their entire gimmick now is fusions and synchros, so it's pretty fitting. And plus, 100 Eyes Dragon does still exist, so technically we can count this as like incorporating retro support. Synchro, they already had a synchro, now we just have a way to make it. Kinda. Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper is a level 5 Dark Fiend with 1600 attack and defense, and it kind of looks like a fish. I like it. This can summon itself from your hand so long as there is a field spell anywhere on the field, and can discard itself to add a level 3 or lower Fiend tuner from your deck to your hand. Doing so will of course lock you into fusion and synchros for the rest of the turn. Now obviously this is good because the other monsters are level 3 lower Fiend tuners, but this being revealed at the same time as the new Resonator and Red Dragon Archfiend cards means that this is support for that deck. It's just a fact. And hilariously, this lock is actually less strict for this deck and Resonators than half the Resonator locks are, so it fits right in. It can search it can summon itself. What can't it do? I mean, it's not really good to summon in Red Dragon Archfiend, but in this deck, it's great. In RDA, it's good, and I'm going to declare it acceptable. Moving on. Earthbound Prisoner Line Walker is a whole-ass dude. Just kidding, it's a no-ass dude, because it has no ass. Just floats, like me. What's below me? The same as that, now you know. This level 3 Dark Fiend tuner with 800 attack and 1100 defense can on normal or special summon add 1 Earthbound Prison or Harmonic Synchro Fusion from your deck to your hand. I'll get to both of those new cards in a minute. It also has a second effect, that if you control a level 6 or higher Earthbound monster, you can banish this from your grave to target and shuffle into the deck 1 effect monster the opponent controls that was summoned from the extra deck, after which the opponent can then summon from their extra deck 1 monster with the same name as that which was shuffled back. Now I'm going to assume that that second effect has synergy with something else in this wave of support, because otherwise I believe that entire effect is just time theft. Or a way to, completely ruin Monster Reborn for that monster specifically. I don't know. But even if the grave effect is entirely useless, the first effect will search an Earthbound field spell, which is great. And the new gimmick spell, which is awesome too. So for that reason, it is nothing else. It is decent. And we take that in Yu-Gi-Oh! Earthbound Servant KRAKEN is the new fusion monster, a level 8 with 2800 attack and 1200 defense, needing any 2 Earthbound monsters as material. Of course, if it's special summoned, it can add any field spell from deck or grave to your hand. Finally, more access to field spells in Earthbound. Only took them like a decade. The second effect is that if a monster is summoned from the opponent's extra deck, you can destroy as many of their monsters special summoned this turn as possible, and then burn them for 800 damage for each destroyed. So that's what Line Walker's effect is about. Force them to blow up their own field, or make them lose just that one monster. Okay, I see what Line Walker was doing. That's cute, it's good synergy. Can you imagine if like Line Walker was a quick effect though? This deck might actually be good. I mean, not that it's bad, it's just, you know, we're in progress. As of now, we've seen nothing phenomenal, but nothing terrible. And that is something. This effect is, of course, a great effect for two reasons. The first is that it blows up all special summon monsters, not just ones from the extra deck, so long as they were summoned that turn, which is pretty good. Wider range of damage than you might initially think. And the second is that it's the KRAKEN. We can now legally say, release the KRAKEN, in regard to Earthbound Immortals as well as Fluffles, and I fully support that every day of the week. Earthbound Servant Yugioh is a level 10 Dark Fiend fusion with 3000 attack and 1800 defense, whose fusion materials are any Earthbound fusion and any Earthbound Synchro monster. At the start of the damage step, if this battles an opponent's monster, you can make that monster's attack and defense become 0. Oh, and if an opponent's monster is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can just destroy all cards the opponent controls. Yeah, fuck it, just MST resolves? Yeah, okay, cool. Bye to your board. Dead. Get that shit off the field. Oh, that's so stupid. I love it. And it's not even done, because there's one more effect. If it leaves the field while face up from the opponent, it can summon one Earthbound monster from your main or extra deck, including a copy of itself. Why the fuck not? I mean, is it maybe a little Winmore-ish? Maybe in a certain sense, but it is a cool looking motherfucker with a damn fitting effect for a boss monster, and we're talking by a fucking Laudel. And now on to some synchros, because we need at least one to bring out that dope new fusion, so let's get two. Earthbound Servant A Gremlin is the best name so far, and it's a goofy ass looking dude, so I really like it. This level 6 Dark Fiend has 2000 attack and 1000 defense, and will need one Dark Tuner and one or more non-tuners as material. And it's got a quick effect. Wow! Sick, I like that. During either player's main phase, of course, you can target a face-up monster the opponent controls, and your opponent will then choose one of two effects that you will apply. You will either destroy that monster, or gain life points equal to its attack. So you can basically just put, you know, gain life points equal to its attack, because how often is the other one going to come up? Not often. The other effect is that during the battle phase, you can quick effect fusion summon an Earthbound fusion monster by banishing the materials needed from your hand, field, and or grave. Now that is neat. The first effect kind of sucks because really it's just a way to win in time, but the second effect to fusion in the battle phase can make some quick OTKs become far more viable, and that's far from terrible. Not much else to say here, I just think he looks neat. The other synchro is Earthbound Servant Griffin, a level 8 Dark Fiend with 2500 attack and 1500 defense, needing the same Dark Tuner and one or more non-tuners to summon it. This one also has a quick effect to special summon an Earthbound monster from your grave and defense position, except for a copy of itself, and will of course hit you with the tried and true synchro fusion and, you know, general lock that this deck has. The second effect activates if it's destroyed by the opponent, after which you can destroy one card in the field and then inflict 300 damage to the opponent for each Earthbound monster in your grave with a different name. How is this seemingly less useful than the level 6? I mean, yeah, the constant revives are kind of cool, but you can't attack with them, and I feel less inclined to summon this over Gremlin in most circumstances. And that's not even just art-wise, because Gryphons are dope as fuck, and I really, really do hate yaks. This can get back Groundkeeper, for example, for more searches, but that's not even the tuner you'd probably be summoning this with. You'd be using the level 3, the Line Walker, so why? Why not swap the effects on the 6 and the 8? That would please my inner bigger number, better card mentality. That's just the facts of the world. Big number, big success. That's the way it works. Why isn't it here? As it is, it's not terrible, but the fusions are much more impactful, it seems. At least in my opinion. Up next is their field spell. Finally, a field spell for Earthbound Immortals. Kind of. I mean, it does technically support them. Also, if they already had one, it's so bad that I wasn't even aware it existed, so don't fucking at me. This is finally a field spell for Earthbound. Earthbound Prison is what the mainstream media will tell you is a hand, but true duelists know that's a Minecraft fossil. Think about it. If this card is activated, you can target one monster on the field your opponent controls, and then this card will gain the effect to negate that monster's effect. It's a very weird way to word it, but it gets the job done. You can also, during the main phase, let you normal summon one Earthbound monster in addition to your normal summoner set, which is cool and good, and I like it. Fuck double summon, okay? That card sucks. And instead of double summon, we just need to give every deck double summon through a field spell, apparently. That's, you know what, I'm fine with that. Fuck double summon. And there's one more effect, because if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, while you have an Earthbound monster on your field and or in your grave, you can then cut your opponent's life points in half and negate all face-up effects of face-up cards the opponent controls until the end phase. Just blanket negate everything on their field. That last effect is kind of nutty. If they negate the first effect, the one to negate one monster's effect, they risk a blanket negate of their entire board, meaning by itself this can kind of ensure at least 2 negates. You can get 2 negates with this one card. Granted, they have to negate and destroy that for this to, you know, be a thing, but Baronne is a popular card, and so I can see this being useful. As for the other effect, you know, the normal summon one, it's nothing insane, but at least it lets you get more summons to get a lot more effects going, so I can't complain. It is an amazingly mid card, but I mean that not in the insulting, like, slang way, mid AF. No, I mean in like a more sensible, appropriate use of middling, you know, neither great nor terrible. A Diatlab kind of way, if you will.
Not great nor terrible.
You said it, brother. And lastly, for these new cards, Harmonic Synchro Fusion. This is a normal spell that can only be used once per turn, and activating it will lock you into only summoning Synchro and Fusion monsters for the rest of the turn. But as for what its actual effect is, it will send 2 face-up monsters you control to the grave, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner. Then you can special summon 1 Synchro and Fusion monster from your extra deck that can be Synchro and Fusion summoned using only those 2 sent monsters. Now, there are 2 very important things in regard to this spell card here. The first is that this does not properly summon the monsters that it gets from the extra deck, meaning the Fusion and Synchro monsters won't activate any sort of effect that activate on Fusion summon and Synchro summon specifically. These are special summons, not Fusion and Synchro, and they can't be revived from the graveyard once they hit it if they're summoned using this card. Also, I believe this sends for cost, so that any sort of like Shaddoll effect ain't gonna trigger. That's, of course, important when using the Gryphons effect in this series of support, fuck yaks. And the second thing that matters is that this is generic. There is nothing on this that says Earthbound. You can use this to make any Fusion and any Synchro so long as the materials are valid. Now, that's insane. In what way can this be abused? Almost certainly I'm not sure. I don't know exactly how, but I know this can be abused. If you're asking for me to name a single instance where that can be used outside of this deck, I can't name one. I fucking suck at this game. And that's all we've got. I don't believe there's any more coming from this series of cards, but as it is, there's enough to make a solid engine, if nothing else, to be accompanied by a different deck. There are a number of things that have incidental synergy, resonators I've mentioned earlier, and if I remember correctly, Decatron is a tuner, which, unless they search Dark Fiend tuners, I think it was just level 3 or lower Fiend tuners, that means the fish can also search Decatron. Is there Infernoid synergy? Probably only exclusively that, if any, but hey, synergy is synergy, baby. I don't have a tremendous amount here to say. This is a very interesting spin on a deck. At no point would I have figured that Earthbound would actually get these sorts of cards. I'm aware in the arc that anime that they had these, but I completely forgot about them. Okay, I completely forgot about them. That was like a decade ago. And if anything happened more than 2 years ago, it was a decade ago. So I'm right in saying it was a decade ago. Am I excited for them? Yeah, actually, funny enough, they seem kind of like goofy fun. It's that fun moment of time where it's like, oh, that's neat, and you could do this and you could get that going. That'd be really neat, which is much more appealing to me than the, oh, I've got Nibiru again. Crazy how Nibiru ends yet another turn. If only I played good decks. Instead, these appeal to me. My life is tough. Feel sorry for me. That's the moral of that story. No idea when we'll be getting these on the TCG No idea when we'll be getting these on the TCG side of things. Probably late 2023, if not early 2024. A Battles of Legends sort of set, I would think. I could hop on the Goog and look at what the precedent is for what sets we've gotten these Animation Chronicle cards in, but instead, I won't. Explain that, libertarians. And so that'll wrap it up for this one. These cards look neat. I don't need to. You don't need any more than that. You know, you like them or you don't. Go Gryphons, fuck Yaks. Shoutouts today go, of course, to our sponsor, the LIFD Magnetic Display. The #1 way to support the channel as of now, and also the one place you could put your Earthbound Immortal monsters, since I don't think any of them really work especially well with these new cards. I mean, yeah, you can tour guide and summon one and then tribute for you. You could. But will you? No. So instead, get that ultimate rare big bird and throw it in one of these bad boys, huh? Mikey likey that shit. And of course, you can get yourself one for 15% off by using my promo code or by clicking the link in the description. Thanks to LIFD for the support as always, and thank you for watching. And so that wraps it up for today's new card report. Just covering some new cards in this one. The regular update will be out tomorrow as usual. Until then, I've been your host, Craig Fee, and make sure you subscribe to Yugioh Strats for next week's update to impress your smoking Italian wife, and so you too can be a true duelist.